Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. This week we have a special NaNoWriMo edition. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful, right? So here's how things are going to go down this week. This week I'm going to give you 4 books that are traditionally published, which started out as NaNoWriMo novels. And then for each of those books, I'm going to give you 1 self-published novel, which was also a NaNoWriMo. So let's get started. Okay, the first comparison I have for you is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is a New York Times best-selling book, and it was a NaNoWriMo winner. Now let's read the synopsis. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It is simply there, when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tents is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. It is called Le Cirque des Rêves, and it is only open at night. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway. A duel between 2 young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Despite the high stakes, Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences and leaving the lives of everyone, from the performers to the patrons, hanging in the balance. Now, to complement this book, we have a new release by Jennifer Zamboni called Beauty is the Beast, and this is book 1 of the Beast Among Us series. The cover is beautiful, and I cannot wait to read it. It comes out October 24th. So let's read the synopsis. Gretchen is a 24-year-old hairstylist with secrets. She likes to chase squirrels and howl at the moon. She's also not really 24. When one of her co-workers turns up dead in the salon, she suspects that the murderer isn't entirely human. When another stylist is murdered, and then another, she goes on the prowl. A circus with a secret sideshow catches her attention, as does her former pack, and a group of visiting vampires. Her only outlet is her music, that will only keep her wolf on a leash for so long, with a killer on the loose. So again, that comes out October 24th, and you should definitely check it out, especially if you're a fan of The Night Circus. Okay, the next book we have is Persistence of Memory, and that is by Amelia Atwater-Rhodes, and this was a NaNoWriMo winner and is traditionally published. 16-year-old Erin wants to be like everyone else in her new school, but Erin has more to worry about than passing AP Chemistry or making friends. In times of stress, she has always been overcome by her alter ego, Siobhan, whose violent behavior wreaks havoc on those around her. Erin can never remember anything about these episodes, and she's grateful to have been spared them for a while. But when a protective friend comes back into Erin's life, she insists that Siobhan is a vampire who actually exists apart from Erin. Siobhan has dangerous allies, like the handsome witch Agila, and they're determined to sever Siobhan's connection to Erin once and for all. So that's the traditionally published book that won NaNoWriMo. Now, the next book, Mercy Brown, by Tiki also won NaNoWriMo, and it is self-published. Let's read the synopsis. I've always been the prey. All 17-year-old Mercy Brown wanted to do was finish her last year of high school without any glitches. Now vampires are tearing apart the small town of Goodsprings. While teaming up with her friends, Sebastian Ballor, the mysterious new boy, and Amanda, the book-crazed bestie, Mercy will learn a secret about herself and that blood really is thicker than water. To catch the predator, I must become the hunter. It's a great book by Tiki that you should definitely check out, especially if you are a fan of Persistence of Memory. The next hugely famous NaNoWriMo winner is Wool by Hugh. This book is a New York Times and USA Today best-selling book. It won the 2012 Indie Book of the Year award, and it has been optioned for film. In a ruined and toxic future, a community exists in a giant silo underground, hundreds of stories deep. There, men and women live in a society full of regulations they believe are meant to protect them. Sheriff Holston, who has unwaveringly upheld the silo's rules for years, unexpectedly breaks the greatest taboo of all. He asks to go outside. His fateful decision unleashes a drastic series of events. An unlikely candidate is appointed to replace him, Juliet, a mechanic with no training in law, whose special knack is fixing machines. Now Juliet is about to be entrusted with fixing her silo, and she will soon learn how badly her world is broken. The silo is about to confront what its history has only hinted about, and its inhabitants have never dared to whisper. Uprising. And to complement this, we have Brink, which is a dystopian sci-fi novel by Cameron Corll. It's actually the second book in the Rogue Spark series, but book 2, Brink, was her NaNoWriMo. Ida has a secret. She can save you from the brink of death, a dangerous power in the wrong hands. Genetic experiments changed Ida forever. A war nearly killed her. In Spark City, she's nothing special, or so they think. Jobless and broke, Ida plans to stay under the radar. She's used to being a loner, but when a beastly mutant discovers her power, he recruits her as his bodyguard. Can she trust him? A troubled teen with a plucky attitude latches onto her, which complicates matters. Worst of all, the cyborg mayor intends to control her. She might be his last chance to live. When his android police force hunts her down, she has to escape. And our biggest problem? The only way out might be to save the one person who can destroy the entire city. What could possibly go wrong? And the last traditionally published NaNoWriMo book we have for you is First Grave on the Right, which is by Darynda Jones, who is a New York Times and USA Today best-selling author, who has won numerous awards for her work, including a Rita, a Golden Heart, and a Daphne du Maurier. Let's read the synopsis. Charlie sees dead people. That's right, she sees dead people, and it's her job to convince them to go into the light. But when these very dead people have died under less than ideal circumstances, i.e. murder, sometimes they want Charlie to bring the bad guys to justice. Complicating matters are the intensely hot dreams she's been having about an entity who has been following her all of her life. And it turns out he might not be dead after all. In fact, he might be something else entirely. And the wonderful comparison book we have is The Reapers by Allie Winters. It's the first in the Hunted series, and I think book 4 is about to come out. It's a very good series that I highly recommend. The balance of life and death must be protected at all costs. Nivian had never failed to reap a marked soul. That is, until she meets Cain Evers, a hunter and the only being on Earth with the power to destroy her. When Reapers start to go missing, the balance is thrown into turmoil, forcing Nivian and Cain to trust each other as they search for answers, which is no easy task as they fight the feelings growing between them. As mortal enemies, they were never meant to work together. Now they're forced to protect each other if they want any hope of righting the balance before all is lost. Unfortunately, to succeed, one of them must die. So you definitely want to check out this series. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye.